Aman was a 22-year-old young man living in a small mountain village in Uttarakhand. His days were filled with the fresh scent of pine trees, the sound of rushing streams, and the endless stretch of green hills. He was bright, hardworking, and full of dreams. But life in the village was far from easy. His family had little money, and most days were spent worrying about basic necessities. Still, Aman believed that hard work could change his destiny. He spent hours studying, even when his friends were out playing. His mother often reminded him that dreams were important, but so was putting food on the table. Aman would smile and tell her that hunger could be satisfied with work, but an unfulfilled dream would leave a person thirsty forever. One day, an announcement echoed through the village. The forest department was hiring assistants, offering a decent salary and job security. For Aman, this was more than a job. It was a chance to lift his family out of hardship. Academically, he was confident, but the physical tests scared him. The selection involved a 5-kilometer run, mountain climbing, and long jumps. Sports had never been his strength. Despite his doubts, Aman decided to try. The very next morning, before dawn, he tied his worn-out shoes and began running on the rocky village path. The cold air bit into his skin, and within minutes he was gasping for breath. But every day he pushed himself a little more. First 1 kilometer, then 2, then 3. Slowly, his legs grew stronger, his stamina increased, and his confidence began to build. Just as his training was going well, tragedy struck. One rainy afternoon, his father slipped while carrying wood down the mountain, injuring his leg badly. The doctor declared that he would need at least 6 weeks of complete rest. Overnight, Aman became the sole breadwinner, taking care of the fields, household chores, and his father's recovery, all while trying to keep up with his training. There were days when exhaustion nearly broke him. He would return from the fields late in the evening, drenched in sweat and dust, yet still force himself to run. Every step felt heavier than the last, but deep down he knew, if he gave up now, his family's struggles would never end. Finally, the day of the physical test arrived. The morning air was tense at the ground where hundreds of candidates had gathered. A man stood quietly, his heart pounding. When the whistle blew, he started running. The first kilometer went fine, but by the third, his legs began to burn and his chest tightened. For a moment, he wanted to stop. But the image of his parents, the sacrifices they had made, pushed him forward. With only 200 meters left, Aman summoned the last bit of strength he had. He crossed the finish line just 3 seconds before the time limit. The relief was overwhelming, but the journey was not yet over. He still had the written exam. A week later, the results were posted. Aman had not only passed, he was in the top 5. His family and neighbors celebrated. But for Aman, the real victory was something else. He had proven to himself that circumstances could be changed with determination. From his first shaky steps on the mountain path to the final sprint across the finish line, Aman's journey was built on one belief: that you don't always need unmatched strength or endless resources to win. Sometimes, all it takes is one last attempt. Friends, if this story touched your heart, do subscribe to the Story Vibes channel. Like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and support us by sharing it with your friends and family. Your one small step is a huge inspiration for us.